the best soccer players under the age of 21. This is something I know is going to get controversial regarding my views on this one certain player that happens to be the media darling for everybody in the world. Um, I think you know who I'm talking about. But let's do the ranking. I don't know. Should I go from 5 to 1 or should I go from 4 to? Hmm, should I go from? Okay, first of all, I'm gonna name some of these sort of players that we need to see more of before I want to put them in here. I'm talking about the likes of Endrick, Arde Guler, um, you know, those two specifically. I just Endrick and Arde Guler, those are players, obviously with some real quality, real ability, all that, but just need to see more. Just need to see more, quite frankly, in terms of, you know, need to watch them play more. Arde Guler had a very good Euros, but hasn't played much for Real Madrid. Endrick, hasn't played has a single minute in European football. So I'm just gonna leave those two out of the talk for now. I will go with number 5, and I'm gonna go. Oh, this is actually okay. I'm gonna go with. Let's see. I'm gonna go. This is tricky. 5 and 4 is tricky. Um, I will say for now, I'll say Florian Wirtz number 5. I will say Florian Wirtz number 5. Florian Wirtz, player, real quality, real ability. Can do a lot of things for the team. Can play a lot of sort of different positions. Can play, he has the ability to play deeper in midfield. When he plays more, especially since that ACL injury is more in the attacking half, attacking midfield. He can play on the wings. He's very he provides that vertical element. He can make runs in behind. He has the pace. He can run past players with the ball. He has real ability on the ball. He has that goal scoring ick to him too. He has a great long shot. He can find a nice pocket of spaces to get the ball in the back of the net. To be on the end of balls and get the ball in the back of the net. He can control the tempo of the game. He can create for others. He can create for himself. He has a lot to him. He was the catalyst of a team, the best player on the team that had one of the best seasons in the history of football. Going undefeated in the Bundesliga, winning the DFL Cup, and getting to the final of the Europa League, which was the only game in all competitions that they lost in all season. He was the main guy, the catalyst of that, running that show in the midfield alongside obviously Granit Xhaka, who also had a brilliant season. But he just real ability, and he can do a lot of everything. And there's not really holes in his game. I wanted him to put him at 4. I kept Florian Wirtz at 5, but the one thing that made me want to go over this player that I have at 4 is the fact that I think this guy, if Florian Wirtz, has the more of ability to get a goal than number 4. I think he has more of attacking intent in terms of getting the ball in the back of the net. Now that's Florian Wirtz, and the person I have number 4 that I was saying is not as good in terms of getting a goal, is Pedri. Pedri is a player with such quality, and yes, he's had a dip since that magical year that he had, that first year where he was overplayed, playing in the Olympics, European Championships, a ridiculous amount of games for Barcelona at age 17. He's had a little bit of a dip in form with injuries and all that, but when he's available, he's still a brilliant player. Number 1, he can make any pass on the pitch. I'm talking short range passes, medium range passes, long reach passes. His passing range is endless. He can hit any ball. He has that sort of ability. He's also comfortable on the ball. He doesn't look flustered. He gets the ball in the midfield in a tight space. He is very comfortable in being able to get out of there and make the play to open up space for his teammates. Just real good ability on the ball. Great passing range, and he's a prototypical Spanish midfielder. You have him in there, you're going to be able to dominate the ball because he's not going to lose the ball. He's not going to give it away cheaply. He's going to keep it moving. He's either going to keep it moving and keep the possession with the team, or he's going to be able to make the play to find someone in behind to create an amazing goal scoring opportunity. He's just real quality, real talent. He'll never lose the ball. Just so good on the ball, so good in tight spaces. He just quality, typical Spanish quality. The thing that, is my little weakness about him is sometimes he gets the ball, sometimes he should get on the half turn, go and take on a player, get past them, because he has the ability. He has the ability to take players on. He has that sort of ability. He's really, really good on the ball. He doesn't have the pace like some of these, like Florian Wirtz has, or some of these other players that I'm going to mention, but he does have that sort of ability to take players on, beat a man and take a strike. I don't see Pedri doing that. He lacks that a little bit of a attacking intent. He's very good at controlling possession and making passes and all that, but he never makes those runs into the box and tries to get on the end of a ball, or gets the ball in space and takes someone on and take a strike. He's always trying to move the ball and move the ball and move the ball. Sometimes I wish he had a little bit more of a want to do it by myself sort of mentality, because there's a lot of times that he gets the ball and people don't even fear his ability to actually take the shot on, and they kind of give him space. They kind of give him space that they wouldn't give space to a guy like Dani Olmo, who we know, once he gets the ball in midfield, if you let him, if you give him the space to, get in a goal-scoring position, he'll take advantage of that. I think defenders, they look at Pedri and they're not really worried about that. I think if he has a little bit, and it's a mentality thing, obviously. If he just has that a little bit more of a, I'll be willing to do it myself sort of mentality, I think that can make him even more deadly. So I have him number 4. I think he's better than the player I have at number 3, but he hasn't been. It's the injuries that are not why I don't have him ahead of this guy. But I think if he gets really, really fit, I'd have Pedri number 3 and this guy at number 4. But right now at number 3 is Jude Bellingham. Brilliant season. Look, he has ability. He's good on the ball. He's very good for his age, really experienced, really mature in certain aspects. Plays ahead of his age, was an important factor of a team that won the Champions League. He can drive past players. He has quality. He's good on the ball. All that. He can make runs into the box and really be a threat to score goals. He can get on the end of things. He can make spectacular plays like the bicycle kick. He has that clutch factor coming up big in late moments. He saw scoring winners in El Clasico, scoring that game-tying goal against Slovakia that saved them in the round of 16. He has that, sort of ability. I just think when the rest of these guys, when it comes to a pure technical point of view, I don't think he's at the level at these other 4 guys that I have on this list with him. But I think he has that a little bit more of the intangible factor to him, which really puts him into this list. I think he's really, really experienced for a guy that's young. He plays like a guy with experience, but he also has enough quality to put himself in this conversation. And this is a player with some real, real talent. Now, the thing with the negatives I have about him is, number 1, in the second half of the season, his Real Madrid production did fall off. Now, he had a ridiculous amount of goals to start off his campaign, and to expect that going in that for throughout the season maybe was a little bit unfair. But I thought there was a lot of performances in which he wasn't really at it, and there'll be times that he goes down and he doesn't get up right away and get back and defend or any of that, and instead he gets down and starts whinging and whining, kind of like Bruno Fernandes, and I'm just like, it really rubbed me the wrong way. We saw that a lot at the Euros. I thought in the Euros in general, I thought he was a no-show the entire Euros. I thought he was really bad the whole Euros. He had one moment of magic against Slovakia, and I thought that kind of papered over some of the cracks, because I thought he was really bad at the Euros. I don't think he had any of the impact that we saw him have at that first half of the season for Real Madrid. And in general, since around January, he hasn't been, the drop-off has been evident. Even down the stretch in their run when they got to the Champions League final. It wasn't Jude Bellingham, carrying them on their back or anything of that sort of element. Nowhere near that, So I just want to keep things in perspective. Number 2, I have Lamine Yamal, 17 years old, 16 years old throughout the majority of the European Championship, doing what he was doing. Oh my goodness, so vertical, so comfortable on the ball, so good in tight spaces, has pace. I mean, he's just the perfect winger. Has quality. He can cross a ball. He has vision. He can make a pass. He has ability to finish. He has that long range sort of quality. He has a great mentality. What's not to love about Lamine Yamal? Absolutely brilliant player. Just real quality. And he's phenomenal. And for 17, he's 4 years younger than the rest of the guys on these lists. Pedri, Fertz, Jude Bellingham, and the guy I have number 1, they're all 21 years old. This is a guy that's 17. So for the fact that he's already number 2 is unbelievable. And if it's based on transfer value, he's number 1 because of his age, being 4 years younger than the rest of the guys on this list. But yeah, what he has the intangibles to be able to do this at 16 years old. Because the entire European Championship, he was 16 years old besides the final. It's a 16-year-old doing what he was doing. Simply sensational, and I think the sky is really the limit for him. And then number 1, Jamal Musiala. In my opinion, when it comes to pure ability in tight spaces, pure dribbling ability in tight spaces, pure technical ability in tight spaces to retain the ball, he might be the best player I've seen, besides obviously the likes of like a Messi and a Neymar, or a Maradona or something like that. Some of those crazy, ridiculous dribblers. But in terms of especially that at this age and all that, oh my goodness, his ability to dribble in tight spaces is absolutely sensational. I mean, it's just incredible, the things that he does, the way he embarrasses defenders, the way he makes people nightmares. It's like he's moving the ball with his eyes, and that he's telling the ball where to move. It doesn't, it's literally like he's controlling it with his hands. There's players that can, he controls the ball with his feet better than most people could control a ball with their hands. That's just how, every touch that he makes, it goes exactly where he wants it to be. He does not lose the ball. He's just so incredible when there's no time, when their space is compressed. And now what you've seen over this past few months or so is his ability also to his end product getting much better, getting the goals, getting the assists, really being the huge factor, being the best player on Germany this summer, really taking that next level. That's what we wanted to see. That's what really was going to take him to the next level, getting that end product right. And he has got that end product right. He's turning into a great finisher as well. Great ability on the ball. You like to see him be a little bit better in terms of creativity when it comes to his passing, making space for other teammates, really being deadly passing. Because with the combination of his ability, if he can develop himself a little bit more of a passer, again, this is sort of player, the sky's the limit. For me, he has to be the best player, because when you're watching a game, out of all these guys, there's no one that can dominate a game more than Jamal Musiala. I mean, Jamal Musiala, when he's on his A game, he is literally the star of the show at all times. That's how brilliant he is.